Yes. My sister Jacqueline is in charge of our show now. We are in Calgary here, and it's midnight, January 1st, 2022. Sister Jacqueline.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Calgary. Happy New Year to Zambia. Happy New Year to the world. You are listening to TVBAKWETU, and welcome. This is 2022, a year where all the action has to take place. Welcome to the TVBAKWETU family, and I think that tonight, as we celebrate ourselves into the new year, Calgary, Canada, even all those in Victoria Island and where else in Canada you can think of, we just want to say that we love you Zambians, and we love the Canadians too, and we love the world. And to our brothers in Lusaka and the sisters in Lusaka, Zambia, and in all parts of Zambia, we just want to say welcome to TVBAKWETU program. I see Bachanda Chilufya is on the program with us. Happy New Year. Mohammed, Happy New Year. Patrick Chilufya, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Mr. John Sasonto, Happy New Year. Nice to see you in 2022. Dr. Elias Munsha, 2022, nice to see you. Oh my goodness, you men just, changed the whole trajectory of democracy and mindset in Zambia. You were so influential in the election, but well, let's focus on the new year. Dr. Munsha, what do you have in stock for us on TVBAKWETU in 2022?
I think this now, I was looking at all of you from Australia. They entered the new year earlier. I was a little jealous because you're already in the new year. And then time came for Africa, Lusaka, Chiwempala, Zambia, entered the new year, and I was envious here. And then, Mwebali ku London. Nikuisa muliba Patrick?
Yeah, Sussex. It's West Sussex.
Is it the same as London?
No, 65 miles southeast of London.
Johnson London.
The closest town to where I live is Brighton.
All right.
So Brighton Football Club.
Yeah. So Brighton entered the new year, and then Muliku Washington.
If we're to achieve 3 hours ahead of you, so now tufika kale mchaka chipya cha 220.
22.
and then now we are in 2022, so it's very fair for us now to be able to. I think you are in the same time zones. Nava John's consoles. Are you?
Yes, but Dr. Monsha, I asked you a question.
Yes,
I
that's
said,
true. That's very true.
What do we have? What is in store for us in 2022 from BAKWETU?
I think we are going to continue. We are going to continue with bringing great programs for our audience. We are going to continue, first of all, with our politics. And the reason why we must do it is because there is still more work to be done.
Right.
If you notice, we couldn't just have ended at ushering in the new government.
Right.
We did what we could in ushering in the UPND government. President Haga Hinde is president. But from the political side, we must finish the job. Bantu ababa kerenka munjereko ba Jacqueline kerenka balefwayo okubwera. So even when 2022 twaingira balefwayo okubwera, and so we've got to keep them in check. So politically we've got to do that.
Absolutely.
And then human interest stories. So our TVBAKWETU family is there to go into human interest stories. We have several of our presenters that are interested in human interest stories. So 2022, we're going to bring those. Frank Saliki is on motivation, trying to motivate. He's a motivational speaker. And continue with this program. So we have a lot that is in store for us. We know that Linda is interested in human interest stories, in bringing visibility to the girl child, and which is part of your passion, Jacqueline. And so we are looking forward to most of those stories as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well done. We just have very quickly the IMF program, Zambia IMF program, that obviously is commencing in January in this country. We've just seen the subsidies on fuel, of course, being scrapped off now. And personally, I am happy that has happened, because then we could now channel our money to other areas that are important, like health and education, and probably agriculture as well. Vachanda, just tell me a bit, how do you think we should communicate this information to our people? Because obviously the panel here understands that, and as we celebrate into the new year, it's important that we carry correct information to the people. How do you think we should communicate this information so people can know that it's actually for their benefit?
Thank you very much, Chishimba. To be honest, I think the best way, or the most possible way, is to be communicated with the people that actually represent their constituencies. Like we got MPs, we got councillors, we got all those people that represent the government. Now, if they disseminate that information properly, but we not need to have people are very simple. Zambian people are very simple. People will be confused. Why don't you talk about guys? Yeah, the best way to implement all these things is A, B, C, D. In fact, I would actually recommend, just out of this topic, Gilbert Lisoniso, the way he carries himself out, and the way he represents the party, and the way he disseminates information, an average Zambian can understand. We've got, we got a lot of educated people, a lot of people that have all these masters and everything. But when it comes to the ground where people are, we need to have people like him to go there and, you know what, change this. So guys, what the government is trying to do is this.
Thank you so much.
He actually disseminates that information in the way that they understand. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vachanda. I mean, that is so clear
Sorry.
and you're on
Yeah.
point. We need to get down to the people in their language. But Patrick, very quickly, there's this new issue now as well that we have to tackle in 2022. Our youth were very expectant immediately after the elections, right? And now they seem to be losing hope and thinking, really, is the government going to help us? If you were sitting in the SME ministry as minister, PS director, or even a consultant, how would you advise them right now to say, guys, we need to move quickly on the youth before we are in trouble? Remember, about Pelama votes. How would we do that in a snapshot? But Patrick, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jacqueline. Yeah, just to recap on what Vachanda said, UPND has got a manifesto, and obviously in 2022, UPND is going to start implementing their budget. I think we need information to be disseminated properly, especially the Ministry of Information. They need to start explaining to Zambians in a layman's language how those policies, the budget is going to be implemented. And then to answer your question, I think our youth, they are really, really desperate. I think the quicker the government starts implementing some of the policies like entrepreneurship policies, people start forming cooperatives, the better, because a lot of youth don't have jobs, they are desperate, and the way to go is entrepreneurship, cooperatives, and also providing skills necessary for the youth to run those businesses and cooperatives. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So if anyone is watching us or listening to us right now, we are live as BAKWETU from Calgary in Canada. And this is our 2022 reflection and celebration into the new year, but also reflecting on 2021. And of course, BAKWETU, whether you know it or not, is a group of broadcasters, both professional and non-professional, coming out of Canada, but of course of Zambian origin. And we bring a lot of diverse information and communication. Very quickly, I'll jump onto you, Mohammed. And I'm glad that, Mohammed, you're Zambian too. And I just want people out there to know that Zambia is very diverse and cosmopolitan in terms of race. And they shouldn't be surprised that Mohammed is here, despite him being in another country. Mohammed, how do you think that partnerships in business in 2022 can actually change the face of Zambia's economic trajectory and also a contribution into growing our GDP? Because in the past, we've been very known as a nation not to easily partner, whether amongst ourselves or with other people. And I know that you're coming from a background of big business. So what is your advice in 2022? Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Good evening and Happy New Year to Wamuncha and the family. Calgary must be snowing. So it's, I'm based in Leicester, where we have got another Zambian export by the name of Petsandaka. So, we are flying the flag from the diaspora. Yes, in terms of our lineage, our linkage to Zambia, I was born, bred in Zambia, as you all know, and my heart and soul is still in Zambia, although I am doing different stuffs everywhere. Yes, the mindset of the previous 15, 20 years of businesses in Zambia, unfortunately, was not on the right trajectory because a lot of things were just not in place. So even trying to formulate business cohesion, joint ventures, business ventures, etc., was not coming to fruition because of certain elements of the government hindrances which were putting off a lot of people who wanted to come and invest and partner with the Zambian per se. Corruption was one of the key, I think. Good governance wasn't there, so a lot of things were just not applicable or were not given a fair ground to do. But with a new dispensation, with obviously the President Hichilema's administration, with his business background, he's now open to business, and Zambia is open to business. So I think 2022 should be a year where we encourage everybody to come into Zambia and start working with Zambia with already existing companies and start venturing jointly with Zambian indigenous citizens as well, because there are so many of them who are displaced, disoriented, or lack of support. And I'm all for it, and I'm just wishing 2022 will bring us that new dimensional look, not only the new Dawn government, but a new dimensional look from the government. And where I am praying that HH government, the new Dawn government, don't start yawning. That's all I'm just praying for.
Thank you very much, and I'm sure that that's great advice, like everyone has said. Jones, I'll move to you, Mr. Kasonso, and very quickly.
Just a bit of a correction. Mr. Kasonso is incorrect.
Okay.
I've not been called Mr. Kasonso in more than 14 years.
Dr. Kasonso.
It's Doctor, Professor, Reverend, and all embarrassment of titles. So I don't want to feel disrespected because when I talk, I also speak in a professional capacity.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So what's the question?
You know what? That is fine. I really respect that. And for me, I always find it very important when an individual clarifies like that. Dr. Kasonso, Professor Kasonso, I'm going to address you now. We have seen suddenly a rise in PF former government officials attacking the UPND government and also just attacking policies, even IMF, Zambia IMF program. And of course, we have to remember that the Zambia IMF program is not an IMF program, it's a Zambian program, because it takes a government to say, this is the program we want from the IMF. And if they've agreed, that's what it is. But we have now seen, especially in 2021, a lot of backlash from former PF officials, government officials, who now want to come out like they're angels. And what is happening on this program is not angelic. What is your advice to President Hakainde Hichilema in 2022 regarding the Zambia IMF program? Over to you, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chishimba. The president should be busy with his job. The people of Zambia specifically selected him multiple times. And he got cheated many times. So once he got the job, he cannot focus on the losers. The problem with focusing on the losers is that he too begins to think like a loser. And if the president thinks like a loser, he makes all of us losers. What has happened is something they wanted to do in 7 years. That is to get on an IMF program. He got it in 2 months.
Right.
In the Guinness Book of Records, that's a genius.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if you go and compare the financials from the beginning of 2021, the monetary policy by the Bank of Zambia, and you compare it to the very end of the year, you see that just his showing up his face there as a well-known person in the financial world. All the statistics, economic statistics at the Bank of Zambia have dramatically improved. The president has a big job to translate good economic programs. The president has a job to transfer all of that perspective and goodwill into food on the table of the Zambian people. That is a big job.
Right.
Not to take a policy manukuli bakampuni abale panga fechongo tabeshin barelanda.
Imagine.
Program, we vale fire. Lelo vaisa yo alufanya pantwale time program. It is in 2022 by PF. Get a life. Get a life. Get a life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Kaposo. Well said. Thank you very much, everybody. Dr. Mosha, I'm so glad now that I'm actually going to address you and ask you this question, because I think the last 12 months for us were not just exciting, they were very challenging in that a lot of Zambians went to bed telling themselves, which way must I vote? I have felt the pen, and this other group called Hakainde and UPND, should I try them? Will the pen continue or not? And obviously with the PF, we had so much pen. And there was BAKWETU and yourself with all this initiative coming up and selling Zambia in a very positive light, and in a light that shows Zambians that, look, you own the country. It doesn't matter whether but you own the country. When you go to the ballot, it's your voice. What motivated you in 2021 to just come up with BAKWETU and do what you've done with a great team here and many more that are not here? But also, going forward in 2022, what is your advice to Zambians? Because already some have started complaining. Some are saying they are seeing opportunities and they're positioning themselves for the opportunities. Others are saying, listen, I don't care whether we still continue as a bad path for as long as PF is gone. But number one, what motivated you? Thank you.
So I think what really drove me and then drove the rest of the BAKWETU team together, and Mr. Norman Chipakupaku and several other colleagues here, was that our country needed us. I think that is what motivated us. And I felt like I owed this country the duty to respond when the country needs us. The country was being mismanaged. Its wealth was being stolen. Its future was being jeopardized. And we could have easily looked the other way and just ignored it and forgot about it. But I think we owe so much to this country that when it needed us, we had to step up. Now, of course, we joined several other voices in Zambia and what the PF used to say, on the ground. So there were so many people who had paid a lot of sacrifice in Zambia. We as people in the diaspora, we were positioned in a different way. And so we needed to use the tool that we could come up with in order to motivate those people in Zambia, encourage our people, explain to our people to do the right thing when it came to August. And I'm very glad that all these forces came together and removed the dictators from August last year. Oh, we should say last year now, from August last year, and bring about this change. Mm-hmm. My advice to every Zambian is, this is new. First of all, we should not listen to liars. Mm-hmm. If people stole from us in the past, that's what is motivating them. Nindo bakofwaya tati kuiva. So nomba umlando wako bati ukuiva kwali loa bale umfa bwino ama none yakuiva bale efwayo kubwero kukonkanya kuiva. So we need to be very steady. We are going to ignore them, one. Secondly, we are going to continue with the program that the UPND has for us. Ngayakutira ba UPND bafirwa nishi tukalanda tibafirwa nomba tatuko bachita this step video bale bomba 30,000 new teachers amachoko abantu kanshi ba teacher, they are ready today.
Dr. Monsha, sorry to interrupt you, but you know, you've just said something. You mentioned the word chalk. Just right there. So if we're going to recruit 30,000 teachers that will need chalk, what would you say to a business person or a young entrepreneur who's looking for an avenue of starting a little manufacturing organization? We import chalk, for your own information, Dr. Monsha. Please hammer on that as well. Thank you.
Can I correct that we are actually manufacturing chalk in Zambia? Luancha Road, Admark.
That's fine, but you're not meeting the demand for the whole country.
Right. And there is also another company by Jacqueline. Yeah, Bachangala. I don't know what company that is.
But Bachangala also makes chalk in Lusaka.
Huge empowerment. Yeah, Bachangala, Nava Muhammad Avareranda. To grow. But if we panga chalk in Bantu, 30,000 new users of chalk. Imagine. 30,000 new users, chalk or Abantu, 30,000 new. Let's assume that we get one chalk each. 30,000 chalk.
When our organization in Luampa, working in Luampa, Lavushimanda, takwali chalk or maskulu yonse. We had to send an SOS kuliba action aid bafanda bisu. Ukubeba kuno takuli ama choko. Ama officers baileko. For choco bambino kutuma. Choco, yes, chalk has been manufactured in the country. But even Mohammed will tell me that they are not meeting demand. So we need more players and we need these entrepreneurs, the Zambian entrepreneurs, even through the CDF funding.
You correct me, Jacqueline. When I visited Chinsali a few years ago, I couldn't find chalk in any of the primary schools.
Yes.
Because of all places, it's random.
My father comes from Chinsali Bamusha. I've told you.
No, but father comes from Chinsali. This is New Year. Our
village is Mundu village in Chinsali.
What Jacqueline?
Ndomalumbula Chinsali. Nishimlefu okuba presidential. Kaunda for 27 years after Chinsali.
Yes, I come from Chinsali.
Lumbula niko no kutwikalire. Kulaku ni kumushikuma skuli bamayo. So, but anyway, what I wanted to say is that ili achia choko tuchefia nyeko. This is the 21st century. Uno kufunda classes natampile 8.5 years ago, and the first place where I went to be a professor was about 7 minutes away from the White House. No, I can put your point. Days so good kyoko. Ega natampila kyoko. 7 minutes away from the White House. Classroom yam 21st century. Tatole bonfia choko. So there is a whole stream of education and technology infrastructure that needs to be made available beyond the choco. So our property enterprise and expansion of the economy to cover all those areas, because naba navesukuno na choko tabai ishiba. But that is where education is moving in the 21st century, because a child in Tel Aviv, in Israel, is learning the same things as a child in Cape Town and as a child in Lusaka. Their grasp of what the world looks like is relatively the same because of the exposure to the internet and because of the exposure to TV, the exposure to movies, the exposure to the same kind of music, and all of that kind of thing. So, tuichitapak sana pali choko. Because ama technology is na yes, and aba nakunganda mulusaka ba na beshibo kubomfia. Iyi ne phone tuitacha phone. Atuitachi mkwai.
Lekeni bachirufe bapuishe riash. Alen bachirufe mwali kuchinsadi. Nifinshi mwasangire.
Chinsali Munsha
Kwa Bachoko.
is a sad story. Chinsali is one of the most least developed cities or towns in Zambia. Ni village, despite being what do they call it? Provincial headquarters of Muchinga. It's a village, and the schools, the state of the schools, medical clinics, it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. You know, in classes there were no desks. Yeah, some of the schools, like at our village, there's a school, but dilapidated. Teachers were living in thatched houses with, teachers. So it's unbelievable, So Chinsali needs to be developed. Thank you.
All right.
I think the point Jacqueline was trying to make is that certain areas when she was going around with her work she's doing, certain schools don't have the basics like a chalk wasn't there. So she says, why don't we even have places where they start manufacturing chalk so there's
Yeah,
engaging
yeah,
entrepreneurship. Yeah,
she's correct.
I
It's
think
not,
that
yeah.
was her line, and that is something that the trajectory for Zambia should be going through. That we need to get opportunities wherever there's opportunities arising. Let it be produced in Zambia rather than importing it, and that's where I think she was getting to.
I think
Unfortunately,
Muhammad, she's right. There are few companies that manufacture chalk.
yes.
First, the point here, so that's very important. We should go technology, but not in Zambia now. First, we need to deal with the chalk, and then start now developing. So there is only two companies manufacturing chalk, and they are both in Lusaka, around Lusaka. So why can't we empower our youth or Zambians to open one in Muchinga, a chalk making company, another one in Kasama for, so that it can create jobs. So because and those
Yeah.
two companies, I don't think they are enough. And then we can also
Yeah.
export to Congo
You see what
and
was happening.
Angola.
What was happening before, the chalk manufacturers in Zambia were supplying to the Minister of Education. But it is from Minister of Education, it was not being filtered back. And that is where the problem was. I mean, the capacity was sometimes not even utilized because so much of red tape and so much of corruption that a lot of chalks used to disappear. For God bid, I think some of them probably was disappearing to other countries. That's what was happening. And that is unfortunate.
No, they were not disappearing into other countries. They were selling them to the private schools because
So
there's
there we
so
are.
many
Yeah,
private schools in
yeah.
Zambia now.
So that was the problem. So the whole psychology of trying to do the governing of different institutions, especially key institutions, ministries like health and education, has to be looked at properly. The procurement processes, the redistribution processes has to come now under tight governance with proper checks and balances. So it is delivered to its right places and it's accounted for. When we just saw the PAC report, the parliamentary report by the Auditor General, it is a disgrace of what the misuse and what was happening, and there was no accountability. So, government, I think, has got a big task, but I think he is up. To the task, having been himself coming from a professional background and a businessman of his own right, where he's made a lot of good networks around the world. And so at the moment, he is our CEO. So I'm sure that is coming. So 2022, let's have positive and good vibes for our country, and let's look at it in a more positive way than rather than saying this is not there, that is not there, because it wasn't there. Unfortunately, the whole system had collapsed. Now we have to build it, and HH is going to build it, hopefully with his team around. And I hope he doesn't fall into the same pitfalls as the other previous administrations have fallen. I mean, we must, wherever there's credit to be done, we have to give credit. I mean, PF had done some good work as well. But totally they had a very bad habit of putting their hands in the pocket. Unfortunately, we lost a lot of things. So we've lost 10 years of good economic growth, and let's give something to this new administration, to give them some time. And with Wamunsha, with Bakwetu TV, I mean, I can't say much, but I can only say one thing, that, you've done a wonderful job to galvanize people's sort of thoughts, and galvanize people to go and vote for a change, which is what was needed. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened to our country. 2022 had we, 2021, August 12th, had we not voted the previous government out, we would, I don't know, we would not be even sharing this platform today, because we would have just all been demoralized. So, Mamuncha, you did a wonderful job. God bless you. May God take more work out of you for the benefit of our beautiful country. And let's all have a strong 2022, sort of patriotic, positive thoughts for our country.
Yeah, yes, indeed. And that's what we are looking forward to having in this 2022. Now, we in Calgary, I think, have celebrated our 2022. I know that there are some more in like California that are going to do it in an hour's time, in about 30 minutes. And then I think that should be over for the rest of our TVBAKWETU family. And so we did not want some people to feel like they are welcomed and then others are neglected. That's why we started with Zambia, and then we went to the middle, which is London. Even if you people in Brighton don't want us to say London.
Wabunsha, Brighton is 67 miles away from Arsenal.
I knew you would go there. I knew you would go there.
Well, I mean, Arsenal is having a crest of a good run, so I don't want to upset the cut, But anyway.
And then Wamunsha, the last time you played Brighton, which is my local team, they beat Arsenal.
Yes, but you know why they beat Arsenal? Because they had a Zambian player inside. Wepu plays for them.
I think what is going to happen is that we've started a new year, so relax. Do not remember things of 2011 or 2021. This is a new year, and Arsenal is going to be beating every team that comes. Arsenal will be beating one by one.
Arsenal will beat them, or Arsenal will be beaten? What did you say? I didn't quite follow that.
Arsenal. Muhammad, please. Arsenal. Eva Katsepa. Arsenal. Brighton, Arsenal, Arsenal, Manchester United, Manchester City, everything in Manchester, it will be 10-0.
Okay, we'll start from today's game.
Mamunsha, I love your positivity. I love that. I love it.
I'd love to see you tonight. Meaning tonight in the first of January night, not the 31st. Yes. Anyway, we'll watch. See.
But imova Muhammad nava Brighton nava Chirufia. Mwechita bank ukwevati vaasino avarati apa Chirufia. They are going to just be meat for men. Kuli va Manchester City or Pep Guardiola and Petrodollars. Yeah, so baadi shokutema bigger teams. And if you look at the stats, they are the most improved team. Although if I had the bet, I had the $10 to put on a game. I would not bet that they are going to win today's game. So we talked about the youth.
I don't think it's in the best interest of everyone for you to say that Arsenal is not going to win today's game.
No. I just said if I was to bet, I have not said that because I would even be expelled from my own family. The Arsenal fans are all over. So then kwenda hapa inga kuri kubika puka $10 ndina lasongana lachita muswiti. So but I don't think that there will be meat for men if Never City babulungira ama teams 5-0 awe because whenever ichebonzinaka shuru kandika saka twala bwera kunuma twakola fina mu midfield kubutukira pachipando Never City tabaishivo kumaka ngera kwata bola vivine varesenda vareyanga shashane ko ero rina mwashipula kwa ero sama fen shoot chikotirwa ku Germany yaingira. So but kuri Arsenal takwa befyo. But I would not put my $10 at Arsenal are winner today's game. But it's the most improved team this season.
He sounds like Dennis Luwewe.
Kwadi baba kwata deshishu kwati nini wewe but panoteti mbalo mbremu kavomfa mwene pa YouTube. Yeah, so but anyway, nachava kuta comment parife bachanda pama twachanda po in the background we talked about entrepreneurship, we talked about innovation, and we talked about imitations, innovation, inventions, and imitations. So if I was to encourage people to invest in the education system of Zambia, it's education system that raises the standard to global standards. Yes, I know we are not able right now to avoid the choke and the board, but where the opportunities are for businesses that want to invest in the education infrastructure is in technology, teaching technology, education system platforms and infrastructure. Because the next phase, we are going to start troubling the president that at every academic institution, from primary to secondary school, there must be computer labs. There must be computer labs in the whole country. And the job of the government would be, hey, let's find now the money to put computer labs in all the schools and supplies and stuff like that. So yes, for now, we can temporarily work with chalks and others, but we have to look at chalks as transitional products because the world in which the children going to school today will be working is a world that has been invested in educational technology platforms. They are ready to go to work on day one because the things they were learning in class, they can do them exactly at work. So that's the point I wanted to make there. I didn't want to say Zambia should jump immediately, but Zambia has already jumped. They're using smartphones, laptop computers, and they're watching TV and everything like that. So they are already in the global economy. So now how does the government plan for that? And that's what we should resource them with concepts and ideas and make sure that the transitions are made. Because they can say, hey, yeah, we found money to employ 30,000 teachers. They are solving a problem from the past, but are they creating a solution for the future? That's what we need to also talk about. So thank you.
Okay. I think there'll be a time for that, but for now, we need to celebrate the fact that 30,000 new teachers will need how much oko? 30,000 new teachers, oko. Lesson plans, I'm a boko. Now I'm a red pen. Red pen.
A pencil.
I'm a pencil, I'm a pen. 30. I think that's what is going to happen this time. But I get you, Professor Kasonso. Professor. I get you, Professor Kasonso. We need to create solutions for the future. But for now, 30,000 new teachers. In fact, if you divide that 30,000 by 116 districts, it's about 250 teachers per district. We don't even have accommodation for 250 new teachers in Milenga. So no UPND now about to feet, you know, oko to 2 million teachers. So it's midnight time. I think we have to end.
No, Bamunsha Chachine. You remember I was telling you when I went to Chinsali. But teacher
Go back to Chinsali.
teacher vekala mu thatched house bamush.
Yeah. I think ndingavari tupera ko 2 years aini babali ukwavula okutuletera 30,000 new teachers ngavari tupera ko 2 years twakula mayanda
Wakasonso, all this will
It's
come,
not
but
only cannot they teach the share poverty. So I fight the share ukankala. The teacher amenso ya biri
No, but
Muhammad, you were saying something.
I was just wanted to add on what he said. Obviously, this is the new technology is what we need to aim for, but obviously the infrastructure needs to be upgraded to take this new technology. I mean, if you go to certain areas, there's not even electricity. So how are you going to have a computer lab without any electricity? So all that is probably in the pipeline, and that is our hope that this new dispensation will start looking at it on a year-by-year basis, as the money comes in or as their plans comes in. So I'm sure it will come because the urban areas have all got electricity. They all got, but our key areas would be the rural areas.
But Muhammad, rural areas, they can use solar now.
Solar, yeah, but that's something they have to start. But
solar,
infrastructure is not there. They have to invest in the infrastructure. They have to invest in solar. They need the money for the solar. It's not just going to happen.
Listen to become more positive phrases. Kwala wa makuzambia. Because pakuti batwale in education technology. Mufire batwala na malaiti. So I
agree with you. I know what you're saying, but I'm just giving you a caveat that this is going to happen, but it will need a little bit of adjustment, a transition time for it to be in fruition. And it will. I hope by 2025, 2026, when the next election comes in, by then everything will be in place, and then people will see the feel of what has been achieved. I mean, previously all this money was just spent and nothing to show for.
We are looking forward to a lot of good things for this year. This completes our 3 programs on TVBAKWETU, welcoming Zambia, welcoming Europe, and now welcoming America and the American continent to the new year, 2022. We're looking forward to more great programming on TVBAKWETU, lifestyle. Yes, Muhammad.
Before you end, can I just wish one of our very prominent person from TVBAKWETU who managed to get into the administration of HH, General Norman Chipakupaku's appointment. So can we wish him all good tidings and wish him all the luck and all the success in delivering and serving our beautiful country, including our president.
All right, thank you. Mr. Norman Chipakupaku, here are the best wishes that are coming from Mohammed, from Professor Kasonso, and Patrick Chilufya, and all of us here at TVBAKWETU. Professor Kasonso?
Yes, I also wanted to honor him for one thing. Our senior member here, Mr. Chipakupaku, always told us off when we said, no, the army are going to follow PF instructions. He says, no, the army of Zambia is a professional army. They will not exceed instructions. And then he talks about Kamugod. It will take them an hour or 2 to wipe out that Kamugod. So it is very gratifying to see a guy who honors his profession, this group, be part of leading it and stuff like that. So congratulations to you, sir, and we wish you well in this 2022, and we are very proud of you, and we still feel like we are part of that job. So represent us well. Thank you, sir, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. So TVBAKWETU, we expect to continue with our programming, political activism, some lifestyle and cultural programming, and several other things. And so thank you for having been part of the TVBAKWETU journey in the previous year that has ended. 2022 promises new, great, and bigger things. We have created a brand that is greater than the individuals that were at the forefront in creating it. And no matter what happens, the legacy of this brand will continue to serve our people because that it belongs to the people. It came about because Zambia needed us, And as long as Zambia still continue needing us, TVBAKWETU will be here. To the president and to the new government, we know that you are correcting a lot of things, and so we are coming along. We are coming along to encourage, to guide, to advise in a very informal manner, but we are there for this government and for our people and for our country. This has been a presentation of TVBAKWETU in the new year from Lusaka, from Europe, and from Americas. Good morning, because now, watch her. Good morning, and God bless you and God bless our country. We'll see you with the exciting programs coming up right here on TVBAKWETU in the next coming few days. Thank you.